Algebra Word Problems number 6A, Interest Word Problems. Okay, bear with me on this for those that have seen this before, because some haven't. We have a word problem strategy where we read the problem, we underline and circle what's important, we make our plan, we decide, are we going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? And figure how will we use the information. And we need to turn the unknown amounts into variables. We can make a table or draw a diagram if it's too confusing. We can write the expression or equation, find the solution or simplify the expression, and then check if it's correct by plugging in the answer. And we remember that this is our numerical coefficient, our coefficient. He's next to the variable. See, he's right in front of a variable. And the variable is a letter of the alphabet that takes the place of an unknown number. All right, here we go. Interest is the amount paid for the use of money. The amount of money borrowed is the principal. You know, when you borrow money from a bank, they're not doing it for free. They're charging you interest, and that's how they become rich. So interest is equal to principal times the interest rate times the time in years. And the formula is I equals PRT. Or you might see it, let me rewrite this a little bit better. You might see it as I equals PRT altogether, because that means to multiply when the letters are next to each other, right? So Bob borrowed $3,000 for 2 years at 9% annual interest. What is the total he'll pay back after the 2 years? So we think, how can we put these words into order to fit into the formula? Well, here's our formula. We've got $3,000 for the principal, 9% for the interest, and 2 years for the time. There we go. Do we need to convert any of these to make them easier to work with? Well, yeah, that percentage could be a decimal point, couldn't it? So 9% is really 9 of 100. That's 9 1/100ths, so it's 0.09. We'll use that. So now our formula is interest equals 3,000 times 0.09 times 2 times the 2 years, the time, okay? We do our 3,000 times 0.09. We see that there's 2 hops of decimal places in the equation, so there's got to be 2 hops of decimal places in the answer, in the product. So we've got $270. Now we just need to multiply it by the 2 years, and it's $540. Now remember the question was, what is the total he will pay back after the 2 years? It's very important to answer the exact question. You might just say the answer is $540 when they wanted the total paid back. Well, that includes the principal. So we add the $3,000 and the $540, and we get $3,540 as the total paid back after 2 years. Now, sometimes it'll ask you just for the interest paid back, and sometimes it'll ask you for the entire total. So make sure you read the question to make sure you're answering what they're asking, okay? Tala borrowed $2,500 at 6% annual interest for 1 year. How much interest will she pay on this loan? So we think, what do we need to find? We need to find the total interest paid. Okay, this is just like we were talking about down here. They don't want the total paid, they want the total interest paid. So we just need the interest. So how do we write these words as the formula? Well, we've got $2,500 as the principal, 6% is the rate, and it's for 1 year. So we've got 2,500 times 6% times 1. We need to rewrite that percentage to make our life easier, don't we? So we've got 2,500 times 0.06 times 1. Well, identity property, do we really need to multiply it by 1? Whatever we multiply this by is going to be the answer, isn't it? So we do multiply 2,500 times 0.06. We see there's 2 hops in the equation for decimal places, so there's 2 hops in the answer. Our answer is $150. See? We don't need to multiply that by 1 because it would still be $150. All right? Emma had 2 loans of $500 at 5% interest. If she repaid both loans in 2 years, how much will it cost her to borrow the money? Okay, think. What is it asking? What is the cost of the loan for her to borrow the money? That means the interest paid. They don't want the total. They just want to know what the interest is going to be paid. How will we write this to fit the formula? Well, there's 2 loans. So now we're going to have interest equals 2 times the principal times the 5% as 0.05 times 2. Okay? So this is our formula for 2 loans of $500 at 5% interest for 2 years. We do in the parentheses first, 500 times 0.05. We notice there's 2 hops. So there's 2 hops in the answer. That's $25. So now we need to multiply that by 2. And we do, and we get $50. But now we need to multiply it by 2 again because there's 2 loans. So $50 times 2 is $100. So the total cost for the 2 loans together is $100. So remember, there's a lot of similar numbers here. 500 and 05. There's a 2 here, there's a 2 here. You can get lost and multiply it by the 2 and think you're done. Make sure, by going over everything slowly at the end, when you found your answer, go back and say, okay, I did that one. There's the 500 times that. There's the 2. Oh, I need to do this one. Okay. All right? So, especially when there's similar numbers, you want to double check and make sure you've multiplied or added or subtracted or divided everything you were supposed to. Okay? I'll see you next video. Pardon my dog barking at the squirrels. Bye.